Okay, welcome back to this YouTube channel. So today we are going to learn fractions, or in bahasa Indonesia pecahan. Okay, so what to learn today is, first of all, we are going to find the definition of fractions, definisi pecahan, then types of fractions, jenis-jenis pecahan, vocabularies in fractions, kosakata dalam pecahan, addition and subtraction of fractions, penjumlahan dan pengurangan pecahan, and the last one is multiplication and division of fractions, perkalian dan pembagian pecahan. Okay, ready? Let's get started. Definition of fraction. Okay, a fraction is a term used to express the parts of whole numbers. Okay, what are whole numbers? Whole numbers in bahasa is called bilangan cacah. Okay, bilangan cacah started from 0, 1, 2, 3, and etc. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dan seterusnya. That's whole numbers. Okay. For example, to express 2, you can write 4/2. Okay, 4/2 is equal to. So this whole number 2, we can express it using a fraction 4 halves. Okay, 4/2. You can also write it like 10 fifths. Jadi 10/5 itu juga sama dengan 2. So this fraction can be used to express whole numbers, but not all fractions can be part of whole numbers. Let's say, for example, 3 fifths, 3/5. Okay, in fraction 3 here is called numerator. Okay, numerator. And 5 is called denominator. Denominator. Okay, denominator and numerator. In bahasa, numerator can be said as pembilang, and denominator can be said as penyebut. Okay, numerator you can also say that as dividend, and denominator as divisor. Okay, jadi ini yang dibagi dan pembagi. Okay, so this is about fraction. Numerator, for the next section we're gonna say this numerator and denominator. Now let's continue with the next part, which is types of fractions, jenis-jenis pecahan. Okay, so the first one is called proper fraction. Proper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is less than or smaller than the denominator. Okay, so numerator less than the denominator. Pembilang lebih kecil daripada penyebut. Okay, and the next one is improper fraction. Okay, improper fraction is a fraction where the numerator larger than or more than the denominator. Okay, and the third one is called mixed numeral or mixed fraction. This is called mixed because it's a combination between whole number. This is a whole number or integer. Integer is bilangan bulat. Okay, and fraction. So we call it mixed numeral, or in bahasa Indonesia it's called pecahan campuran. Okay, so these three are three types of fractions: proper fraction, improper fraction, and mixed numeral or mixed fraction. Now let's move to the next one, is vocabularies in fractions. Okay, in fraction we normally say for 1/2 or 1/2 we call it half, setengah. Okay, setengah in bahasa Indonesia. So if we have more than 1, for example 3/2, we can say 3 halves. 3 halves with es in the end, because there are more than 1, right? Kalau lebih dari satu berarti plural. So we say 3 halves. And don't forget we put hyphen, garis datar, in between antara 3 and halves. Okay. And the next one is thirds. Thirds. If only 1/3, you say a 1/3 or a third. But if you have more than 1, you can say, like, for example, 5/3. Okay, 5/3. The next one is quarters. Okay, quarters. If you have 1/4, you say 1/4. Okay, if there are more than 1, you can say 3/4. Okay, and the next one is a fifth. Okay, if only 1/5, you can say 1/5. Okay, if there are more than 1, you can say for example 3/5, you can say 3/5. Okay, and so on. If there are 3/6, 3/6, you can say 3/6 with ths in the end. Oke, kalau 3/6, 3/6. Kalau misalnya 4/7, so 4/7. Okay, 7 with seventh ths in the end. Okay. Okay, next, for equivalent fractions. Okay, equivalent fractions are fractions that have the same value. For example, 2/3. Okay, 2/3 is equivalent to 6/9. Why? Because 2/3, if you multiply this with 3/3, it's equal to 6/9. Okay, so 2/3 equivalent to 6/9, right? Okay, 3/3 is equal to 1, so it's just the same thing as 2/3 times 1, which is also 2/3. Okay, now can you find equivalent fractions with 2/3? What other equivalent fraction with 2/3? Let's say when we multiply with 2 halves, we get 4/6. So 2/3 also equivalent to 4/6. What about 8/12? twelfths. Is this equivalent to 2/3? Okay, you can divide this with 4 and divide the denominator with 4 as well, and then you will get 8/4. 8 divided by 4 is 2, 12 divided by 4 is 3, so they are equivalent as well. Okay, so ini adalah pecahan yang equivalent, yang senilai. Okay, next, addition and subtraction in fraction. Okay, so the first one, let's see the example. I think you already learned about addition and subtraction. The first thing we need to do is find this to make the denominator same. So kita harus menyamakan denominatornya. So how to find the same denominator from different denominators? So you're gonna find the smallest common multiple. Kelipatan persekutuannya, kelipatan persekutuan in bahasa. So common multiple. So 3, 4 and 6, what is the common multiple of these three numbers? Okay, let's say for example, you're gonna find the equivalent number of 2/3, 3/4, 5/6, so that the denominator is the same. Okay, so for 2/3 you multiply with 4/4 to get 8/12, and 3/4 you multiplied it with 3/3 to get 9/12, and 5/6 you multiplied with 2/2 to get 10/12. So you get the same denominator now. Okay, and when you get the same denominator, you can operate the numerator. So you cannot operate the denominator. Kamu tidak bisa mengoperasikan denominatornya. You only can operate the numerator atau penyebutnya, pembilangnya, sorry. So 8 plus 9 is 17, minus 10 is 7. So the final answer is 7/12. Now, can you try to work on this question? So 3/2 plus 3/4 minus 3/6. Okay, you're gonna find the same denominator. Okay, how to find the same denominator? You can find the common multiple. Okay, kelipatan persekutuan dari 2, 4, dan 6. Okay, you can do it now. Before continue to the next section, you can pause the video. Okay, silahkan di pause videonya, and if you finish, we can continue to the next section, which is multiplication and division. Okay, multiplication. This is very simple. For multiplication, you can just multiply numerator with the numerator and denominator with the denominator. So 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, so you get 2/6. Or you can simplify this by dividing them with 2/2. So 2/2 is 1, 6/2 is 3, so 1/3, the final result. And for division, this is a bit complicated. So normally in school you learn that in division you can turn the division into multiplication in one condition, where the divisor, pembagi, ini pembaginya, is turned upside down, dibalik. So the denominator become numerator and the numerator becomes denominator. Jadi 1/2 menjadi 2/1. So after that you can just multiply them. So 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, so you get you simplify them with 2 halves. 2 over 2 1, 4 over 2 is 2. So this is equivalent, yeah, equivalent fractions. And maybe you questioned, kamu bertanya, why is it turned upside down? Kenapa ini dibalik kemudian tandanya menjadi perkalian? So let me explain to you. In normal or whole numbers, let's say 2 kali 3 equals 6, right? Ini perkalian is quite easy, so you just multiply them. But in division, let's say 6 over 2 is 3, right? To get the answer 3 in division, you can say how many 2 to get 6. Okay, how many times you take 2 to get 6? Berapa kali 2 untuk mendapatkan 6? Berapa kali? 3 kali. So 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, the same thing applies in fractions. You can also say how many 2 inside 6. Jadi berapa banyak 2 di dalamnya 6? So in 6, okay, 6 kan 1 2 3 4 5 6, like there are 1 2's, 2 2's, and 3 2's. So there are 3 2's. Ada 3 2. Okay, so the answer is 3. Okay, now let's see in fraction. In fraction, let's say for example 2 divided by a half. Okay, jadi 2 dibagi 1/2. So you can say how many halves in 2? Ada berapa setengah di dalam 2? Okay, so let's say 1 2. Okay, dalam 1 ada 2 setengah, half. And this one also there are 2 half. Okay, so how many halves? There are 4 halves. 4 halves. So we get 4 halves. So the answer is 4. Right? Okay. To illustrate this in a picture, so we get 2 bars. Ada 2 bars. Okay. Ada berapa 1/2 di dalam 2 ini? Okay. This is half. This is also half. Okay. This is half. This is half. So there are 4 halves. So the answer is 4. Okay. So 4 halves in 2. Okay. From this basic concept, creative people say that you don't need to think like that. You just turned the divisor upside down. So 2 times 2 over 1. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4 over 1 is 4, also 4. So this is the answer. Okay, so the same thing, but this one you can use your logic and it makes sense. Okay, I think that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.